This will be your Rise Pro Wrestling feature presentation, a 30-minute Iron Man match, as well as a #1 contenders match for a shot at the Rise Grand Championship here in 3 weeks, Saturday, July the 7th. Introducing to my left, representing the main event from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing 200 pounds, he is the Iceman, Tony Johnson. To my right, his opponent from Derry, Maine, weighing 215 pounds, he is the Reaper, Matt Conard. Most falls in 30 minutes wins the event.
There's one big change, gentlemen, that has transpired regarding to Tony Johnson. He's now a member of the main event. And are they going to play a factor tonight? That's the question. Rev, what do you think?
I think throughout all of this history of since we have been here at Rise, we've seen a lot of controversial things that have happened between the main event that I believe Marcus can attest to himself, including what transpired.
Roll up here, one, and a kick out there.
Which transpired a little bit earlier. I think we might go for another one. Here we go.
Another cover. 1, 2, and no.
Yeah, these guys are starting off hot there. Again, match for match, move for move. No one is more equal than Tony Johnson and Matt Conard. And to your point, Rev, since the main event has come in, since things have transpired.
Whoa. Roll up here, and a kick out again.
Counter for counter, beautiful wrestling. You know, there has been a change in Tony Johnson, and there has been a lot of heat between these two guys. Transition here. Trying to go to that leg lock there.
And Tony Johnson rolls to the outside.
Remember that leg lock that Matt Conard uses, that face down, he calls it the purgatory leg lock. It's almost like a figure 4 style with his hands. That's what Matt Conard used to tap out Tony Johnson in November. You know, that is his best shot there, and he's trying to get to Tony early.
Well, I think within this overall, Marcus, when we look at the aspect of, I mean, you know it from being pretty much, I would say, one of the greatest wrestling managers within this era than myself, and being in the ring. When you know you can win with something, you put that in your repertoire. You mark that as a thing, and you try to get to it as quick as you can.
Yeah, it's his ace in the hole, and he knows that.
And the reason we saw so many attempted pinfalls earlier, it's a matter of scoring here. It's an Iron Man match. And Rev, talk about the psychological toll it takes knowing that you have that 30-minute time limit, and one pinfall could be the difference. I mean, that's usually the case with any match, but here it could be 2 to 3, 3 to 4, whatever. And you're really pressured to get those pinfalls early. When you agree, when you have your strength and fatigue hasn't set in.
Absolutely. It's a pressure on its own to be a competitor in this great sport of professional wrestling, to have enough pressure just to get one pin. Let alone, what if one pin doesn't do the job? This is not only a game of physicality, but it's mental as well. You can get 2 pins, and at the end of the time, you can still be a loser.
Yeah,
that's
right.
A lot of the place to all, Marcus.
Early on in this match, we're talking about Matt Conard versus Tony Johnson, excuse me. Early on in this match, the clock is a third competitor in this match. The clock is constantly in your brain. You're constantly thinking about that time. You're constantly thinking about, okay, we're almost 2.5 minutes into this matchup already, but they still got 27 minutes to go. It's constantly in your mind. When these guys wrestled for 20 minutes, 22 minutes, their only concern, beat the man in front of me. Now, there's this ticking clock in your brain. Mentally, it drains you.
It's a gauntlet.
Now, Marcus, I want to ask you this simple question. You know, being into this position of being in the office within talent relations, bringing in now your mindset of you being in the manager mindset, if we can take you back to that role, what is your mindset going in with a competitor with a match like this?
It really depends on the competitor, and it really depends on who you're talking about. So let's start with Tony Johnson here. Tony Johnson, impeccable shape. He is built for Iron Man matches. Okay, Tony Johnson, good size, good height, he's lean. He keeps his endurance, not too much weight, he's not carrying a lot of weight. Matt Conard, on the other hand, fantastic mat wrestler. That's going to be to his advantage. Matt Conard gets a little bit of a lead here, so if he can get 2 falls quick, if he can do that, then he can put this thing in a deep freeze. Work on the mat. Don't let Tony work up. Don't take any high risks. Matt is perfect for that. So it depends on the competitor you're talking about, but these two guys are built for an Iron Man.
And the score is still 0-0 as Tony Johnson gets rolled back into the ring here. The Reaper. And the Iceman going back and forth here.
Getting in early, I want to point out, a count out counts as a fall. Countouts, disqualifications, pinfall, submissions. There's a lot of different ways to score here. You don't have to just beat the man down. There's a lot of ways to win here.
I think looking at the full-fledged tell of the tape, with both of these competitors, sometimes we see a mixed match, which is a great thing. You don't see that often, but you see that a lot here as a unique factor within Rise. But here right now, I think the tell of the tape, both of these competitors are very matched up. I'm talking height, I'm talking arm length, I'm talking weight, I'm talking, physicality, athleticism. There's a very, very precise difference, if any. Oh, beautiful drop kick. Yeah. There's a very precise difference, Marcus, between both competitors, very evenly matched.
Hook here, 2.
And I agree with you on that. Is Tony Johnson slightly more athletic? He's got that athleticism advantage to him. Conard, though, a little better on the mat. So if Tony can high fly a little bit, hit some of those big moves, then he's going to have that advantage.
Shane, you brought up a little bit earlier,
5 minutes gone,
this isn't the same Tony that was here at the beginning of Rise when we first started. This is a new mentality of Tony. Can you talk a little bit about it? You mentioned something about the main event, right?
That's right. He's been coached by the main event. They're one of the most methodical, technical, powerful tag teams, I think, in Pennsylvania, and they've no doubt taken him under their wing. And they've no doubt, kind of mentored him and trained him and given him some additions to his movesets.
You tried to speak to them, if I'm correct, a couple times on Rise's Facebook page. We would do our live intermissions and on social media. Was there anything particular that they told you when the cameras were not rolling about what their mentality is with coming into a match with Tony Johnson like this?
Well, the things that Marcus Mann mentioned earlier, those are all reasons why the main event recruited him. He's very good at high flying. He's very good at cardio. He's very good at gauntlet matches like this, where you're not necessarily up against a lot of different people, but you're up against one opponent multiple times, depending on how the falls are contributed to that score. So I think that's why the main event recruited him, and why he's such a dangerous threat to Matt Conard here tonight.
Oh my
There's
goodness!
The knee
so
landed
precise
on the Iceman.
I could have dislocated a jaw.
Yeah, Conard's starting to roll here, starting to find his openings.
Hook of the leg here, could be a first score, and no.
That
So
first
close.
pinfall is so important, Rev. You know that first pinfall, when you get behind, it is so important. It dictates the entire rest of this match.
I take it with life in general. I know a lot of our fans can agree, and we can all agree. Any type of point in life that you feel yourself pretty much playing catch up is a difficult.
That's right.
Maximize that now as you're in the ring with not just an ordinary man. You're in there with an entity. You're in there with a guy, a monster, a savage like Matt Conard. I've been in the ring with Matt personally. You're a whole new person coming in. And the Rev versus Reaper back then, I did not leave the same way I came in. That could be the fate that Tony Johnson falls in tonight if that plays out to be the final thing.
And I want to point out real quick, Tony Johnson is taking a lot to Matt Conard's ribs here. And this is a great strategy, and something I would have told Tony if I was managing him. You take his wind early. This is an endurance match. You know you're in there for 30 minutes. If he can take his wind, if he can take those ribs, if it's tougher to breathe, okay, is it going to be as effective at minute 22 here? Maybe not. But when it's down to minute 7, when it's down to
What a clothesline! And what impact? The fatigue's going to set in.
Absolutely.
The fatigue is going to set in.
And to my point, Matt made that clothesline, but then grab that side. He's not as fast even early on. Good strategy by Tony Johnson.
We talk about cardio, we talk about running, jogging. Ring shape's a whole different type of thing, Rev. And there's only so much you can do to prepare for an Ironman match like this.
That is fall away.
The Iceman
Fireman's carry.
hoisting the Reaper up. But there's a roll up here. Could be a first score, and there it is.
Ladies
Matt
and
Conard
gentlemen,
has scored 1 fall.
The Reaper leads 1-0 here in this Ironman #1 contenders match.
Notice I understand both of you guys are talking about. You see, that's how quick things can happen here at Rise. It takes a matter of 3 seconds. Here we were, 21 minutes, 50 seconds still remaining. Matt Conard is up right now, 1-0.
Yeah, and now this totally changes the match for Tony Johnson. He's now playing catch-up. His mentality completely changes now. And with Matt Conard, again, here we go for another one.
hook. Could be score number 2, but no.
Matt Conard so good on the mat. He's got a lead now. Now, can he take 21 minutes here and put it in the deep freeze? Can he just hold him down on the mat? Can he just take this 1-0 all the way? Matt's good enough on the mat. He might be able to do something like this.
That's an excellent point. If you get the lead, you're just buying time. You know, it's like you're eating up that clock.
Again, I think Matt would probably like one more. I think he'd like to go 2-0 before going to that deep freeze. But he wants to beat Tony Johnson as many times as he can, too. This is a rivalry. This is a feud. He wants to beat Tony Johnson.
Wait a second.
Here's the main event.
Try to get a camera here. The main event. Duke Davis and Gannon Jones Jr. We wondered about this. The fans wondered about this. Would we see them again like we saw them previously? And I think the question is, yes. And they're at ringside right now. Could this play a factor tonight?
Well, and what are they doing here? I mean, Duke Davis is getting in the ring.
Of course they're going to come out to support Tony Johnson. And here they come. And now they are taking it to the Reaper.
Well,
that'll be a disqualification here.
All right, Tony Johnson has been disqualified for outside interference. It's Matt Conard 2, Tony Johnson 0.
So now it's 2-0. The main event actually costing Tony Johnson here
10
in a big
minutes
way.
gone, 20 minutes remain.
Notice one thing, though. This could be...
This is a triple team here. Come on now, the Reaper.
Oh, my God!
What impact.
Now that's a disqualification. Now that's a 2-0 lead here for Matt Conard, but Matt Conard's been laid out here.
This could be a whole change to the ball game.
Still 19 minutes, 30-something seconds remaining.
They're doing another one here. No, come on.
Not again here. They're looking to take Matt Conard out for the rest of this matchup. Not again. Oh, what impact there. Triple teamed. The Reaper goes down.
Just like we stated, though, this isn't an ordinary match. Yes, there has been a disqualification. Yes, the score is 2-0. But did Tony Johnson make a waiver with them saying, this is what I need you to do? Could this change the whole ball game up? There's still 19 minutes remaining.
This is a play here. This is a Gannon Jones Jr. playbook play.
And hook of the leg here. 2-3.
2-1.
The score is now Matt Conard 2, Tony Johnson 1.
We're on the up and up now, baby. Let's go.
Plenty of time left here.
Fourth quarter.
But the Reaper is reeling in the center of the ring
Oh,
now.
jeez, guys. If you look at Matt Conard's chest, he's bleeding.
Oh my
Goodness.
He is bleeding here.
You know what? When we look at this, notice this is not coming from the forehead. This is not coming from the jaw or teeth. This is internal bleeding. I mean, this takes things to a whole new level.
You can see it's coming out of his mouth here. He's bleeding from the mouth here, guys.
This could be very
Wait a minute.
severe. Oh my God!
What a kick.
That ice pick kick.
The ice pick kick drops the Reaper.
That's exactly what it is.
Battered
Could this even
Reaper.
it out?
Hook 1, 2, 3, and just like that, it's 2-2.
The match is now tied 2 falls apiece.
This is not for the faint of heart, ladies and gentlemen. The Reaper is bloodied and battered, as I mentioned.
I honestly have never seen Matt Conard in a position like this. I mean, this is a guy that has made legacies in numerous top-tier companies.
He was triple teamed, Rev. I mean, there's only so much you can do to
Wait a
bounce
second.
back after that.
Our ref is relaying something.
It looks like Tony Johnson has brought the main event out. He's traded 1 fall for 2 here to get this match back tied.
You know what? I cannot disagree with it. Call me crazy. I think it was smart decision-making, very smart decision-making. I couldn't have called it any better. Whatever playbook they called, whatever play they used, the ref agrees with it. I mean, you got to capitalize when you can. They used the numbers game knowing that it's not a full disqualification. And beautiful. Now it's tied up 2-2.
Exactly. Tony goes down 1-0, brings out the main event, gets his 2 falls, gets it back even. And now Matt Conard's got 17 minutes to go with internal bleeding.
My concern is we only see what's on the outside. How much is this affecting Matt Conard on the inside from this bleeding?
We took 2 triple power bombs there in the center of the ring. I mean, that impact, he might have broken ribs. He might have, there's something wrong.
Tony Johnson's rolled in at 9 here.
And there's the count out. Drop kick landed.
Matt Conard counted out of the ring to score. Now Tony Johnson 3, Matt Conard 2.
And just like that, the Iceman has the lead, gentlemen.
Yeah, and you can see the blood coming out of Matt Conard's mouth here. He's got some serious internal bleeding, and he's got 16 minutes to go with one of the most ruthless members of the roster right here. They call him the Iceman for a reason. This guy is a stone-cold killer when he's in control, and he is fully in control. Matt Conard now needs 2 falls to win this match. 2 to win.
And now you see the Iceman with the lead, taking his time, pacing himself.
I talked about a deep freeze earlier. The Iceman's going to put this on deep freeze now. He's got Matt right where he wants him.
Notice, ladies and gentlemen, notice that the aggression that Tony driving Conard into that ring apron, that's an unprotected surface. I mean, there's nothing there but metal beams, wood, things that are unprotecting and unforgiving for the body. It's certainly early in my career, I'm still suffering from taking things within that apron. That's one of the hardest parts of the ring. And this can just add to the damage of Matt Conard.
And the Reaper battle back from the brink here.
Tony is just stalking him here, and we're seeing Tony Johnson at his best right now.
Callously dissecting the Reaper, thanks to the
15
main event's
minutes
help.
gone, 15 minutes remain. The score, Tony Johnson 3, Matt Conard 2.
And now we are halfway through this match, guys, and Matt Conard's trying to battle back as best he can.
First offense we've seen from Matt Conard in a while, just like that, it is stifled.
Let's see if we can pin with it.
1, 2, 3.
It is now Tony Johnson 4, Matt Conard 2.
I think you guys talked about the longevity of this, the pacing of it. When you are trained as a wrestler, and Marcus, you can attest to this too, as helping aid people to championships for multiple years, you have to train to be in perhaps scenarios like this.
Yeah, absolutely. The training that you go into for something like this, you always want to be in the best conditioning possible. And you want to be able to have that breath, that ring cardio that you have. But there's no training for internal bleeding and having to go, 14 more minutes. And I don't know how long Matt Conard can last in this leg submission here, this leg scissors to the gut here, just cutting his breath out. It would almost be smart if Matt tapped out to break the hold, to be able to try and get his breath back, get back rolling. Do you trade a fall here to just try and get your breath?
You know what? Just knowing, Matt on a personal level, I feel like right now the pride, the legacy that's behind the Reaper, it won't allow him to tap right now because he's still, as long as he's in this,
look at this. Kick out at 2 there.
This I was talking about. All it takes is a little bit of time. He still feels he has a fight in this, and right now it's proven by his actions. Even if there's a little bit, there's still fight in there.
Can't count him out.
Matt is not an ordinary human being. This is a guy that is a monster.
You said there's a reason Tony Johnson's called the Iceman. There's a reason that the Reaper is called the Reaper. Matt Conard is tough. He's tougher than tough as nails.
Absolutely, and you talk about how much this means to Matt Conard.
Yeah.
We talk about 7 years. Matt Conard has never held a major title promotions full championship in this area. He's worked for 7 years in Pittsburgh. He has gotten close. He got close at our anniversary show with Lee Moriarty, and he fell short. This is everything to Matt Conard right now. Tony Johnson is the roadblock that he has to bust through. And I don't know anyone more capable than that, but he is seriously hurt, guys. Right to that start.
What impact there, what velocity, right into the turnbuckle. And what a better backdrop than this saga between him and the Iceman. Hook here, 1, 2, kick out again. The Reaper is trailing.
Every kick out's taking effect on those ribs, too. Every time Tony Johnson pins him, that's a strategy. One, he's trying to put up falls, but every kick out hurts him just a little bit more.
I say you really don't know what you're going through. I want to take it back to that Irish whip. Notice that the full rib cage of Matt ringed right into that turnbuckle, right where those metal rods are in between that. Then on top of that, Marcus, like you were talking about the pins, when you have an injury, it's a whole nother ballgame when you feel a whole person's body weight right where that injury is taking place at, and your kickouts become a little weaker.
Push him up and over here.
Reaper hanging on the apron here. Blocks it and delivers a right of his own.
Gotta wonder how much Matt's got on those strikes, though, without his core.
Oh, what a kick to the back of the head. Keep in mind, these two were allies, and as the Reaper goes to the top rope.
Can you do it?
Oh my goodness! Foot impact. But he injured those ribs in the process.
Back to those ribs. Yeah, Matt's trying to capitalize here. I don't know if he can get there in time.
Can he get the cover? We're going to get back into this. Two. And no, a kick out. These two were allies against the main event. So it's personal on that level as well. Not just the saga they've had over the past months and years, but it's also personal on that level as well when you add the main event into it. So, you know, a title shot on the line here, Iron Man matchup. And the Iceman has the lead here. Doesn't get any better than this right here at the Stronghold and Rise Wrestling.
Yeah, you talk about allies. One of the reasons they were allies is because they respected each other so much as competitors before this, because of the feuds. Again, 4 years, 3 states. These guys have battled everywhere. Nobody knows each other better than these two guys. They were tag team partners. They know everything about each other.
Oh, look at this.
Can he get him? Can he get him?
No, no, no. Iceman, 2.
Reverse.
Roll up here, 2.
Could be in.
1, 2.
Any given guy can capture a win.
And no. And that took a lot out of both competitors, too. And there's another kick out here. Wait a second, 2, 3. And the Reaper.
Matt Conard wins the fall. The score now: Johnson 4, Conard 3. 20 minutes gone, 10 minutes remain.
Reaper's still behind by 1 here. Could be 2. No.
Right back to those ribs. Tony Johnson.
Here we go.
Stress.
1, 2. And again, every time he kicks out, it goes to those ribs. 1, 2. Especially in that position, that particular pinfall, forcing all that pressure on the ribs.
Again, and Tony Johnson, you see the frustration in him right now. Matt Conard stole one. Now it's down to a 1-fall lead. You talk about hockey. What's the most dangerous lead in hockey? That 2-goal lead.
Absolutely.
Because you get sloppy. And now it's down to a 1-goal lead. 1 to tie, 2 to win. Conard is pushing hard now, but he's only got less than 10 minutes here.
I think this shows a true testimony to how much this means to both Rise competitors. They're putting everything on the line. Their blood, their sweat, their tears, their heart, their soul. Everything is being put into this very match right here between both of these wrestlers.
We got to think the main event is behind the Iceman here. They got to be invested in this on a whole other level.
My goodness!
Right to the ribs.
Coming in just like a train running over roadkill.
They want their recruit to be in the title picture. What is that going to be like?
Come on.
Matt is hurt here. He's not breathing. We talked about this earlier when the ribs started to go, and I said a minute, 22, 23.
Oh!
What that does, but now we're at minute 8. Matt's gas. His gas tank's empty.
Tap no. Kick out of 2.
There, notice, guys, it gets closer and closer every time. The strength is slowly getting depleted. Can the Iceman completely freeze the frozen corpse of the Reaper tonight? That's the question that we have right now.
Tactics up.
Oh, he's changed his tactics. That's what he said. He's changed his tactics here, which is weird. With the lead here, late in the game, you want to go to basics. You don't want to go take a high risk here.
It's always about if it's not broke, don't fix it. But maybe Johnson can see something that we can't see right now.
Springboard misses here. Reaper.
Oh my goodness! Right in the back of the neck.
Oh, Matt Conard's fired up, guys.
He's stepping into another zone.
Just like that.
I
The
have
Reaper's
seen
back.
this Matt Conard, and this Matt Conard is the most dangerous you've ever seen.
Tapping into the reserves. There's a whole nother look in his eyes right now.
Here comes the Iceman, trying to reverse it here.
Wait a
Gets
second.
it.
Get it?
Wait a second. Oh, and the Reaper counters back.
Is there still enough? Notice Matt is still clenching on to the rib cage, to the sternum. His breath is being depleted. Beautiful. Right across the spinal cord.
Spinning backbreaker. That's normally what you see out of Tony Johnson. One of his favorite moves. That big airplane tornado backbreaker, and Matt Conard just pulled it out of his tricks.
Notice, Marcus, you talked about these guys know each other, move after move after move, time after time. What are some things that you are picking up all throughout as we have about 7 minutes remaining?
Oh, just every counter from counter. Matt Conard going for that DDT earlier. Tony Johnson going for that spring over. If you remember back in November, Tony Johnson hit that. This time Matt Conard's ready for it. These guys have such a
Oh, what a clothesline here.
And
The
Matt
crowd's
Conard-
behind Reaper.
You can see that adrenaline rush he's got right now.
Matt Conard off the ropes here.
How much can this adrenaline sustain him? Can it sustain him for another 6 minutes and 30 seconds? Can he get one more to tie?
Trying to dig down deep. Both competitors spit.
Right back to it.
And that didn't help matters at all for the Reaper. His ribs are already injured. Has that internal bleeding. And the Iceman just lands a drop kick there, and there goes the Reaper to the outside.
Smart move by Tony Johnson. Slows this down. Trying to get another count-out victory. Got one earlier. Again, you don't have to pin the man. If you can't pin him, if he's got too much heart, get the count-out.
We saw the main event earlier. They probably gave him that technique here. You know, this is a different method of approaching a Iron Man matchup.
Tony, a suicide dive!
What a suicide dive out of the ring.
Notice unprotected floor, straight concrete. This is how much this moment means, to put your body on the line for whatever you can get out of it. That's what the Iceman wants to do tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Tony Johnson going to a different strategy here. As I said earlier, I thought he was going to deep free this, not take any high risks, just work Matt Conard onto the mat. And now Tony Johnson realizes with a one fall lead here, he's got to do something to get back to that 2-fall lead, get some comfort level. At this point, at 5:30 remaining, 2 is everything.
Tony Johnson dazed on the outside, and down goes the Iceman. Staggered here.
This next fall, guys, is so important.
It is.
If Tony Johnson gets one more fall, I think it's in the bag. If Matt can tie it up,
it's anyone's game.
Could this be a count out though?
No.
Oh my goodness!
And down to the outside.
25 minutes gone. 5 minutes remain to score. Johnson 4, Conard 3.
As you can hear Hank Hudson say, Tony Johnson 4, Matt Conard 3. And like Marcus, you were saying, there's only a 1-point deficit right now. Only one more pin, count out. Submission needs to be made from Conard to allow us to tie up.
Yeah, he's got to go to a tie, guys. He's got 2 to get. 1 to tie, 1 to take the lead. If Tony takes a 2-0 lead, again, 4:30 left to go. How do you come back from that? And again, these guys are so gassed out right now. Over 25 minutes in there.
Now we talk. Oh my goodness! Right in the neck.
Trying to steal that breath from Matt.
And this is sudden death time, gentlemen. Any one big maneuver can be the end.
One thing I remember both of you guys touching base on. We touched base on this before. We talked about the historic 20-minute match over 4 years ago. We talked about the 25-minute match that we had right here in November. We are past both of those standpoints right now.
4 minutes.
As we're reaching 4 minutes to go, we're into the 26th minute right now. We're past that standpoint right now.
Reaper going for a suplex off the top rope. This is what he's willing to risk here.
Oh my goodness! Both bodies crashing down to the canvas, ladies and gentlemen. Unforgiven.
Yeah, but Matt Conard's ribs, can he capitalize? He is down here.
I think it's just much plays an effect on Matt Conard.
Reaper rolls over to no.
Barely getting that shoulder up, ladies and gentlemen. It does not get any closer to that. Little over 3 minutes remaining, and both of these guys are going tooth and nail, both bodies spilling onto the canvas.
Matt Conard is getting desperate at this point. 1 down, he's got to do everything. You're almost down to 3 minutes. Again, a hockey analogy. Maybe it's time to pull the goalie. It's time to take some risks. He's got to find a way to get this one last fall to tie it up. Wait a minute.
You were talking about this before, Marcus.
3 minutes to go. 3 minutes.
Tony
Will the Iceman tap out? He's tapped out to it before, and here comes the main event again.
Oh, they know the score, guys. They know the score. If he taps out, this is tied.
Are they trying to save it? Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Here comes
Moriarty Vice.
champion and Vice.
Moriarty Vice still
Moriarty Vice chasing off the main event. Number 1 contender,
Maybe
Iron
the
Man match still on the
equalizers.
line.
They've chased those 2 out of the building.
Here comes the champ. Looking on to see who the number 1 contender is going to be for his championship.
Oh, he wants to face the best, and he's going to get the best after this match, I guarantee it.
But he's also going to have to deal with the main event if the Iceman wins it.
I think Moriarty's getting a first
And here
row
comes the
seat.
Reaper. Champion out to watch. And Reaper rolling through.
Go back to
There
it.
we go.
Go back to
Iceman
it.
could tap out here. He's close to the ropes, but can he reach? Can he scratch? Can he claw?
Can he get there?
Marcus, is this
2 minutes to go. 2 minutes.
And he's going to tap out. The Reaper ties it up.
Tony Johnson submits. The match is tied 4 falls apiece with less than 2 minutes to go.
Notice after Moriarty Vice chasing him out, Lee Moriarty's getting a front row seat. Marcus, as you stated, he wants to face the best of the best. We can give one thing. We have a fighting champion here at Rise Wrestling. He wants no excuse. He wants the best of the best. He wants them to earn it, and he wants to face the best.
We're down to 1:30 here. We are tied. And they are just going tooth and nail to each other.
It is the culmination of a saga here, both in this matchup and throughout their storied rivalry.
Oh my God!
And there's the Reaper lands it. 1,
Could this be
2,
it? No! My God!
but not quite.
Just getting out by the hair on his chinny chin. Tony Johnson kicks out.
1 minute to go. 1 minute.
Less than 60 seconds here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
There's
time.
a roll up here. Sudden death. 2, 3, and there it is.
Wait
Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, and just like that, it's tied up yet again.
Yes, scored a fall. It's still tied. 5
5.
each.
I must say this
5
myself.
apiece.
I've been able to travel all around the world. I've been able to work with a couple national companies, television-wise as well. I have never seen it so tooth and nail, so physical, so dogmatic, like I have seen it
Any
here
move.
tonight.
That'll be the last. 1, 2.
Oh
there's a
my
kick out.
God!
Do not blink.
Was that 3?
No.
It wasn't.
That is a 2 count, and we're at 20 seconds.
20 seconds
Who's
remaining.
coming
Do
out?
not blink, ladies and gentlemen.
The crowd
15 seconds.
is with it.
Oh, Reaper
Wait,
reverses. Reaper has it. Can he get the cover here? He spent 5 seconds
here we
remaining.
go.
1, 2, 3, and the Reaper wins it. The Reaper. Wait a second.
That clock has expired.
Wait, let's see what the final is.
The winner by 6 falls to 5. The Reaper, Matt Conard.
No, it wasn't, gentlemen. I think the Reaper has it.